So, this being Vulcan exit interviews kind of got me thinking about actually my interview with Vulcan, which was untraditional. I like a lot of folks. I was a customer, longtime customer there during the early mid '90s while I was at school at UT's undergrad, and so I was just in there one afternoon talking to the manager Craig, just chit chatting, and Diane came in and she something happened where her car wouldn't start or she needed a ride somewhere or something, and I just kind of jumped in overhearing her and Craig talking and was like, hey, hi, my name is Marc. I can give you a ride. I'm friends with your sons Luke and Levon, and so I had a little in, knowing her sons, and she was like, Diane, being cool. She's like, well, okay, I do need a ride. Sure. And then, at that time, Craig, the manager, and I were like, he gives me a telepathic, he gives me the look and telepathically says like, hey man, this is your shot. This is your shot. This can be like an interview. And I think he even said something to Diane like, hey, this is one of the guys that I was telling you about that wants to work here. And so I give Diane a ride and blow off my class or wherever I was going, and um, and we talked about film for a little bit in this like impromptu interview, but we didn't really talk about film. We just talked about life and the universe and just stuff, and we hit it off, and so by the time I had driven from 29th Street to her home, uh, I had gotten the job, I guess, and so that was just you know being in the right place at the right time, and yeah, and then working there, it's a cliche like you hear about Quentin Tarantino talking Roger Avery talking about the video store that they all worked at in L.A. and it became like a class and the same was true of Vulcan. I mean, working there, working with the so many creative, interesting, super smart people, it was like a master class in film in both high art film and uh, low art B films and everything in between. And like I said, the manager Craig, there was another manager named Amanda who I coincidentally knew from growing up in North Austin. There were so many other artists and musicians that worked there too, like Jacob Green, um, Charlie Pritchard, who uh, turns out is like legendary hit figure in the Austin music scene and San Francisco music scene, but being the humble person that he was, I had to learn that from someone else. I'd never learned that from him. But there was Charlie, there was Ted Branson, there was Guy Juke, poster artist Guy Juke, worked a few shifts there. Neil Cook, Lee Sparks, Lee, I learned so much from. I mean, it was really endless. I had a friend that named Monrovia who we worked together at KVRX, and I ended up helping her get a job there, and so it's just this like collection of super smart, super creative people. Um, I almost want to say like a collection of misfit toys, but that's a bad description. It was more like a collection of super creative, super smart folks that Diane wanted to help out by giving us employment. And half the time, Diane didn't even need another employee. She just saw something in all of us and wanted to the subtext of it all was she wanted to help us achieve our dreams, and so she wanted to help us with employment as we were pursuing our art or music or whatever it was that we're doing.